So what I have down in here is a bunch of bones. What it looks like is a bunch of rib bones, and that's good because I want some rib bones. So I need to get in here, and there's a minor issue with that. Well, he's small, so he can kind of cheat his way in. But what we have here is just briars everywhere. Hey, let me feel. Okay, I'm in. So, let's get out these bones right here. Got some here. Look at that. That briar right there grew up with the bone on it. That's kind of cool. Let's take a look. They still feel nice and structurally intact. These are bones. They're very useful and good things to have. If you're out, you want to save these. These are very important. So I'm going to select some of the better ones. So we got leg bones. I've always thought it's really kind of neat how perfect the shapes on bones really are. It's just really kind of miraculous to see how well nature has made itself. So this is a really strong bone right here. We'd save this too. But I'm mostly after rib bones today. I got all the bones I need. Actually, I got more than I need. Alright. So I'm going to take these right here. I'm going to save them. And, hey, y'all. So, what I am looking for right now is a good staff. Nice, good, straight pole. I'm going to probably use something along the lines of a maple or a hickory, if I can find one. Or birch. Those three woods are springy but pretty strong too. So I think I found me a nice little pole right here. This is good. So what's going on is we're making a spear today. The spear is a very, very, very versatile tool. And there's all kinds of points for your spears that you can use depending on your purpose. The kind of spear I want to make today is going to be predominantly for a combination, or potentially a combination, of fishing and hunting. Or, let's say you caught an animal in a trap and you need to hold it down while you dispatch it. Because most of the time it's really not a good idea, if you got an animal in the trap and it's still alive, to hold it with your bare hands and try and dispatch it that way. So you're going to want something to hold that animal down. And a good spear can do just that. So there's all kinds of different ways you can shape a spear. You can have long ones, you can have short ones, yada yada yada. And there's a huge variety of different points and tips that you can use for different purposes. And each of these points and tips have a different purpose. For instance, you don't want to use a 4 or octoprong spear to try and stab at larger animals, like say a deer, or in self-defense situations where you have to try to fight large animals that are trying to attack you. There are applications for every type. Hard to work resource. If you have a multi-tool, you can use your file, or if you have rocks, you can sand the bone down, or You could potentially use a knife, but it will dull in the knife rather quickly. So I don't particularly advise using a knife. Okay, so now we have this right here. 2-pronged spear. Wrap with paracord down here. That's going to keep this from splitting all the way down. I have one of the bones I grabbed in here, just acting kind of like a wedge. If you want, you can take your cord when you wrap it and wrap it around this just to hold it in place. Alright, and all I did to do this was take my knife, pull it in, and beat it until it went as far as I wanted. And of course, stuck the bone in there to wedge it open. So, get your bone. This is going to be your point. And it's going to sit on there. Just like that. Now you see how that little prong is sticking out on the inside. What's going to happen is when you stick the animal, these prongs are going to open up, and this prong is going to help to grapple and hold the animal. Alright, now this is actually really great for fishing. Very effective for fishing, actually. So, what you're going to need, of course, besides your bones, you're going to need some paracord or some other source of very small, fine string. So, we're going to use the inner strands from our paracord here. You can use sinew, you can use primitive cordage, you can use, whatever you want. It don't really matter as long as it's nice and thin. So now we're left with this. I'm just going to put this in my pocket while I start it. I'm going to start it off with a constrictor knot. And I'll try to show you your rope. You're going to wrap it around. Okay, I'm going to start on top. Okay, y'all can see that. You're going to wrap it around so that it crosses over itself. Can you see how it's crossing over itself? Just like that. You're going to come back around, back underneath it. You're going to go on the opposite side of this end right here. You're going to go over it. And then you're going to pick up this little X that you created, and you're going to go underneath the X. And then you're just going to pull it tight. Bubba stole one of my bones. Little butthead. And the tighter you pull on this, the tighter it's going to get. So called a constrictor knot for a reason. Alright, that's not really going to come undone very easily. So then we're going to place this however we want it. And we're going to commence to wrapping. Something else you could do is apply pitch glue to this, and that's going to help to hold it in place much more sturdy. And you want to do this as tightly as you can. And another thing you could do is add more surface area to where you're tying, and the more surface area you tie, you add to it where the bone is making contact with the wood itself, the more secure it's also going to be. But adding pitch glue would greatly help too. And to show you what I'm talking about as far as surface area, I'll do that on this side so you can see. Okay, now can you see how on this one there's a lot more bone making contact with the wood itself? This is a good thing. This is exactly what you want. There you go. a nice little bone spear. Those points are not going to fall off, but you can see, like with this one, where there's not a lot of contact with it, it's really wiggly. Whereas with this one, it's a lot more stable. And I did it like that to show you the difference as to how much of the bone makes contact with the wood makes a difference. Now this may not look like it's going to grapple anything, but if you look, there is this little edge right here. And once it penetrates past this point, it's not going to pull back out very easily. At all. There you go. That's an evil little spear right there. These individual prongs are really strong within themselves. One thing I would do, I would fire harden the prongs before I put the bone on them. But now this spear is ready to go. And that is how you can make a hunting and fishing spear. 2 prongs is pretty good for being kind of universal. You could always do it 4 ways to make it a solo fishing spear. But this is pretty good. This will work for most applications. This will hold game down for you. And I mean, it's in there pretty good. So, thanks for watching. Hope to see y'all in my next video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. And y'all take care.